Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe where we help and heal one day at a time. We're going to talk about how the narcissist reacts to us, why they do certain things. When we're talking to them, a lot of times we are looking for some answers, and we'll kind of explain why we want to know those answers. At least I did a lot. This is where it's like a danger zone for them. They are okay responding to simple text or phone calls or conversation, but when you start to get deep, they don't like it. So over time, they've kind of conditioned us to where we feel that we need to justify why we need an answer because we don't get the answers when we just try to talk normal. I know with my exes, especially the last one, my speech pattern was completely changed because you're always thinking, if I say this first, are they going to listen to the next step? So I got to make sure I acknowledge this first. And it's an exhausting mind game. But when you explain why you need something, I have noticed that with my ex, the recent one, if I would just say, can you give me a call? Little things like that things were going good. But when you get that like silent treatment or the ghosting, or it's just taking longer than it should when you're in a good spot, like 5-6 days for a return, and you're just like, hey, is everything okay? You still don't hear. So then you're explaining, which makes it worse. It gives them power because they start to see you frustrated. They also take it personally, where you're like, I don't know, it hurts my feelings when you don't reply. So then they know that they did something wrong, that they're not interacting like a normal friend or lover. But I have noticed, this is something to take note when you're dealing with narcissists. You should go no contact. You'll heal a lot quicker. But when you're talking to them, if you explain why you need something, it's almost like something goes off in their brain where they're like, oh, I'm not going to give it to you. With my ex, when we would commit to plans, that's when they got blown off. When it was spontaneous, they would go ahead and, we would have time together. But it's almost like they feel trapped. Or it's like a little kid wanting to get away with certain things, that when they set something up, they purposely don't do it because it's like breaking the rules. That's why a lot of times they'll get into like porn. It's kind of breaking the norm of what is expected. I'm not judging if you watch porn, but a lot of times they feel it's kind of like naughty, like, should I do this or shouldn't I? Just like a little kid wanting to look at National Geographic, that they think they're getting away with something. So the way that they handle us trying to explain things, I've noticed when you say why is when things start to fall apart. They don't want to hear it. It makes them try to have to relate to you. They don't like that. They don't want to have to understand what we're kind of perceiving as the wrong way to handle things, or it's seen as needy, because you should be able to just say, hey, what's up? Can you give me a call? As opposed to like, okay, now I got to explain this. Now I got to explain, like, I'm starting to feel like I'm irritating you. So if this is why, then this, it just like snowballs out of control. It takes away the respect. So now we're starting to feel devalued. So it is important to back off if you are dealing with them. People sometimes, just in general relationships, do need time to process things. That they don't want to say the wrong things, but narcissists don't want to handle it. That's where the difference is in a normal relationship. Sometimes you got to process things. Let's say you got in a fight of going to the in-laws. It's like, all right, am I going to be selfish and stand up for myself, or am I going to give in, or how do we work it out? Do we rotate every year, or 2 years, and you're processing these things. So sometimes if you blurt out an answer, you needed time. But with the narcissist, no matter how much time you give them, they don't want to hear why. And I have really noticed that is where everything fell apart. Everything in either relationship usually goes okay. If you don't tell them why, because you're giving them power, you're over you, because they can adjust how you feel. If they respond to you, you're going to be happy. If they don't respond to you, they're going to be sad. A lot of times they get that little smirk when they're like, oh, I just messed with your mind. You're starting to get upset. And then they'll continue on. They might continue the conversation. So we think that they're working through it. But what they're doing is giving us, gaslighting us, making us more confused, not being direct with us. And then we get a little more frustrated. And so then we'll say, please, I need to know this. This is why I need to know it. They don't like that. I noticed with me, the last change where things did get better was when I had to, I was so frustrated because I'm like, I'm trying to play it off, trying to be like, haha, you cracked me up. Can you just answer the question? Did you notice that you didn't answer it? And it was very circle after circle after circle. When I finally started saying effective communication, please. Because usually I would write like 8 different texts, long paragraphs, and I'm getting frustrated. And why is it got to be so hard? And can't we just talk? But as soon as I said effective communication, please, things changed for whatever reason. But there's still, it's still an unhealthy environment you can't trust them. You can't believe the things they say, but the communication got better, but they can't handle our explanations. They can't handle us seeming needy. And we start to get needy when they don't answer a question because we're starting to get frustrated. Like, why has it got to be so hard? It's a simple question. A lot of times it's over something silly. Did you move something? Sometimes they'll purposely let us get frustrated. And I've seen it like in different situations I've been in. People think it's funny to see other people frustrated. So they'll hide their purse and then they put it back. And then they're like, it was there all the time. And they're just kind of laughing. But it's like mind games that they're doing. Is it really funny to get somebody frustrated? Is it funny to make them like question? Like, I swear, I just looked there. The mind games that they play, sometimes you're like, oh, they just hid my purse. They were just being silly. But it's like, over and over, like you get anxious on that kind of stuff. You're like, that's my wallet, that's my keys, like how am I going to get home? And my cell phone was in there, I can't call somebody to pick up my daughter. It causes a lot of stress and they get a kick out of it. So if you have to deal with a narcissist, whether it's at work or whatever, family member, don't have yourself meek, which they will see it as a weakness. You have to be direct with them because that's setting boundaries. What gets scary with narcissists, though, is when you set boundaries. A lot of times they just discard, walk away because they don't like boundaries. Just like I said, even just setting up, hey, can we have lunch on Tuesday? It's a boundary to them. It's time that they have to commit to. And unless you're in that love bombing stage, well, they'll go above and beyond. They see the littlest things as boundaries. Even if you're like, hey, can you help me move something? What time do you think you can come over? And they're like 7 o'clock. And then they start getting like an anxious feeling where it's like, man, now I don't even know if I want to go. And they just see little things like that as boundaries that they want to break free from. They want it to be all about them. So unless they're going to get something from you, a lot of times, it's just like when you take a job, with the narcissist, they see the payout. That's what's important to them. So they're like, I'm a teacher. A lot of times you'll hear, teaching isn't for the money. It's because you care about the kids, things like that. But the narcissist will go to a different job at the drop of a hat if it's extra money, or they won't care if they leave a project in the middle of it where it's not done. They'll get bored with their job, just quit it, unless the payoff is what they want. But the main thing, don't explain yourself. Ask for direct answers. If you have to deal with them, family members, exes where you have children, but definitely ask for direct questions. Be adamant about that, because I've tried it for 30 some years, where you try to explain and try to justify or try to understand them. You try to give them options. You know, can we do it this way? That doesn't work. Or if you're uncomfortable, just tell me you're uncomfortable answering that. They don't want to hear any of that. You just have to say direct, you know, it's a direct question, answer it directly. Don't let them mess with your mind. Don't let them put you in circles. So instead of explaining or getting frustrated, just say effective communication, please. And that should help a little bit. But I've noticed the patterns, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good day.